Greetings, Sanbonani, and welcome back to yet another amazing episode of The Future. And of course, I am your host, Dunotano the Creative, holding it down till the mic drops. Today, we are here at Mbangeni. And of course, I'm here to converse with Zama McLaw, who's a phenomenal woman in business. And of course, we want to get the gist of how she got to this level. So please do stay tuned in. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you are tuned into The Future. And like I said before, I'm Dunotano the Creative, and today we are here with the beautiful, phenomenal woman, Zama McLaw. Hello.
I love that intro. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for welcoming us into such a beautiful space, and of course, getting to know you and the business side of things. So how are you today?
I'm good, quite nervous. It's very interesting sitting on the other side of this. So it's very interesting today. But then at least I'm sitting with the best, so it's going to be quite an enjoyable ride.
And thank you so much for the compliment. Maybe before we get into things, what can you say to our audience today? Why should they stay tuned in?
Dun, dun, dun. I think more than anything today, outside of the fact that it's an awesome show, I think namhlanje abantu bazokwazi uzama. A bit, just a bit. Yeah. The enigma, the mystery. Because my life is out there, but it's more the work outside. So the bit nyana element of me as a person outside of the brand, I think people just get to know that a bit. What makes Zama McLaw tick?
Okay, maybe tell us or describe to us what is it that you do. Who do you do it for?
So I have two companies actually, McLaw Promotions, which was the first one, and then the second baby is McLaw Travels. McLaw Promotions was registered in 2016, so we're turning 9 this year. We've been in the industry for a bit. The second company is McLaw Travels, so that was established during COVID, and that's when we peaked. And we were focused on local trips and stuff like hiking, outdoor events, and camping. I love the camping aspect of it. And this year we're looking at actually doing more like SADC region trips. We've got a few things like almost a week, so we're just trying to go out there. So more than anything, both companies are focused on KZN people, or basically GE.
I think that's some amazing work that you're doing right now. Maybe who could you say has the biggest influence in your life, and maybe what are the lessons that they've taught you?
It's gonna sound very superficial,
okay,
but it's Munang Mateba. I am a queen bee.
Yes,
Stan. So more than anything, when I started working, or when I get entrepreneurship, I don't want it to feel like work. I don't want it to be stressed. Also, where I do not see our business who are into fashion, who are it's dramatic, who love, And then I discovered Ubona. She was, before I became Zama McLaw the entrepreneur, I was the MC. I was doing like TV stuff, radio stuff. So I gravitated to her a lot, where she took herself as Ubonyang, and she changed herself to a brand, So not only did she sell herself as a person, but as a brand. So I was like, okay, Zama McLaw, the MC, the radio TV personality, but there's the brand McLaw out of it, and then you can actually take and develop. So she's my girl. She doesn't know it, but
okay, so shout out to Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
Anyways, so if you were to explain your life or describe your life in a song, what would the song be and why?
Okay, this is actually quite interesting. I've never thought about that. But I think a song that's currently like banging on my playlist right now, contrary to what people think I'd listen to, Ingoma ka Andile Ramachola by Faith. Because basically I think everything I do, I do it by faith. It doesn't make sense. I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
But by faith, I believe that we're gonna be great.
By the way, that's a beautiful song. I actually like it as well. Okay, knowing Zama on social media and the amazing things that you do, what is one thing that people don't know about you, especially about your personality?
That I'm actually an ambivert. So everybody knows, would say I'm loud, I'm out there, and stuff like that. Yeah, what's up about? I hate small crowds because they're very intimate.
Yeah.
So it's like if you were to say I should MC something, give me a big crowd with 1,000 people, I'd flourish. Make it a private event with less than 50. So it's in kanji. So I'm an ambivert. So I'm most times I'm quite the extrovert.
Yeah.
But in a lot of instances I'm quite the introvert.
And shy.
Like you get in a room with people you don't know. It's either where I just become the social being that I am, or my social battery is gonna go down and it's
Out of the amazing work that you do, what are your proudest achievements so far?
Yo, I've done quite a bit. I think honestly, it's my clientele. Being a small girl, and I've done a lot of firsts for my family. The people I've met Steve.
Wow.
I've met quite a lot of celebrities. Work with them more than anything. And my current clients, you know, I can sit proudly and my parents can say, no, you can't. Marketing manager, you know, campaign, you know, so that makes me proud. Like I think sometimes it's space to level up or imali level up to that you moment. But the fact that you are able to walk in a room and influential and powerful people can recognize you. That for me, when I go back and sit home and I feel like giving up and I'm like, yo,
that's really a beautiful story to tell one day. Thank you so much for sharing a piece of yourself at this moment. All right, when we come back, we still have more to come. Stay tuned in. Welcome back, and of course, if you've just joined us, this is The Future. We're still here with the beautiful lady, McLaw. And right now, we're just going to tap into the business side of things. What's up, Grant?
I'm good. I'm glad we're done with the personal.
Okay, maybe let's get into the business side of things. Like, when did you start your business? Okay, you can just elaborate, because I know you have multiple of them.
Okay, in general, when I got into entrepreneurship, it was 2015. I was in Durban, first year in varsity. I was working as a hostess under management, Miss Ambition. Most people know her on Real Housewives of Durban. You know, so I worked with her quite a bit. And then Webster, no Dog Durban. Luckily, I also had a friend called Umpedo, based on this side. So we were doing just like a lot of marketing events. Yes. If there's functions, there's events, people needed people to pop by. I'd get calls. Please pull through. And then Umpedo was like, do you realize that you can make a business out of this? And in my head, own a business. Business, and how can I make a business out of this? I was friends with Ulindo Tillis, which is Dog Durban at the time. So when I said to him, I gave him the concept, he was like, could do it, you know, register it, make sure everything is above board. And then 2016, we registered, and the same year I did my first event, Casper West, in Pangini. And then from then on, we just went with it. Each year there's different campaigns, each year we were adding a different element into the business until this figure we McLaw travel. So I think the entrepreneurship bug bit me in 2015 and we locked down in 2016.
Maybe someone could ask why though, because maybe you could have settled for like a 9-to-5 kind of job and just sit in your space and nobody knows about you. Why?
I very low-key feel like I've always been destined for bigger things, greater things. I recall a time in matric, and we were doing the Orator of the Year, right? And my speech was about drag queens, gay men dressing up as women. Those were my inspirations back then. I was quite the tomboy, you know. And then when I finished that entire presentation, I was very animated about it. Our principal at the time, Mrs. Mattia, went up to my father and she was like, "This girl is going to be a presenter one day. Whatever she does, that is her destiny." So I've always just known that I just want more than what the city Epagini can provide, you know. So luckily when I tapped in, when I got to Durban, that's when you saw like a different pinnacle. That's when you see abantu babhizi, abantu bayaphatha, bayasebenza, you know, and there's a different energy from being in Epagini. So I think that's when I got to Durban to go study law, that's when I realized there's more to life. Because most endaweni ey'dolobha encane, ama-streams mancane, and abantu amabhizinisi are limited and anokufanafana, you know. So I think I was quite grown, luckily for me, when I came to the decision of entrepreneurship being the way. Ukuthi yona into uzobeka itafula, ukudla etafuleni ngayo. Asengibonile ukuthi ngihlezi lana I'm in university. Kunomuntu owaqeda i-law degree yakhe 3 years ago akathola umsebenzi, decide ukubuyela for i-masters. Hayi ngoba ethanda. Isimo somnotho eSouth Africa asikho kahle. At that time kwakusaqala ukudumela into ye-forex trading, no bani. So you're seeing all the big people that are making big money, abantu abayisebenzayo, dropouts and all of that. As much as I don't encourage that, but I do encourage research. Research the states we are in as a country. Research indawo ohlala kuyona, ama-opportunities angaba khona. If I'd had those opportunities back then, I think ngabe sengikude kakhulu, because those 4 years lapho ngihambe ngifunda khona baba ngwenzanga amaphutha.
That's really interesting, the part where you say you need to research and do all of that. Maybe if you could tell us what was the mission or the vision behind your businesses when you just started?
Funny story. It's about it's around 90s. So we grew up watching Generations. So there was a company on Generations called Izwi Communication. So I wanted to be a Karabo. I wanted to brainstorm. And I remember this one time they did it at their webpage. Like actually, you know. And then after that, I'm gonna hashtag, you know. So I've always kind of modeled my company in actual promotions after Israeli Communications, Good Generations. I'm still looking for my own Queen Morocco. I think imagine him utawo mukhale, him ukarabo, him queen,
and all
rounder in my business. But that was the first time I'd ever seen black people dressed up nicely, nice cars. Because that's not this one cool motor, but you could imagine somebody izindlu zabo. Lapho nakuvuka ngebreakfast itafula ligcwele dekiwe umuntu ethi iphise yodwa. It's honey, I'm late for work. And you're like, yes, this is, you know. So I was very inspired by seeing black creatives. And I was like, that's the mindset and environment I wanted to bring.
All right, so speaking about your company and the businesses that you have, how many employees do you have?
So I think the one thing I did when I started, or over the years as I developed my brand and my company, was that I don't want to employ people. I make a horrible employer.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. So what I did is that I contracted people. I contracted companies. So I've got 4 companies under me. They've got their own CEOs. They've got their own employees themselves. So we've got Nyamanda Investments. So that's for all our promotions and hostessing stuff. They've got about 20 people. We've got Keswa Art Gallery. They've got about 5 staff. We've got the graphics department. We've got 4 people. So over and over, we're close to 30 people. So it's a different environment. But I see that that's how it works for me. That having that growth and development and bring other Black entrepreneurs into the fold or into the rooms that I've been into, and it's been magical working that way.
I think that's really interesting. That I think it goes with knowing yourself as well. And how I can handle people as well. Okay, speaking of your employees, what are the services that you guys render, the different services that you render throughout your businesses? Maybe explain it to us in detail.
So at McLaw Promotions, we're doing stuff like ad hoc marketing, events coordination, content creation, basically anything that has to do with communications, your PR releases. And my favorite part and aspect of that is that it has allowed me to be an anchor let me just say with different companies that are not familiar with here. So we kind of assist them with everything, knowing the general public how to basically enter the field. So we assist with that. And then with McLaw Travels, it's just fun vibes, man. We do events, intimate. I'm doing a lot of intimate events, like Valentine's. I'm remembering now because it looks so pretty in red. There's Valentine's Day coming up. And I'm like, hey, girlies are single, you know? So we organize stuff like Galentine's, which is just a day for 20 ladies sitting together, having time, a great time, and celebrating love. But on a serious note, so creating those experiences. So in both companies, I think everything that we basically provide is a service where you as the client or the customer, you just fold your hands and we take care of everything for you.
Thank you so much for sharing the business side of things and how you run things, how you lead people. I think it's inspiring, and I know somebody is learning a thing or two back at home. Thank you so much. All right, so we're coming back with the future plans. My plans 2025, 5 years to come. So stay tuned there. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, this is the future. We're on the last segment of this beautiful episode. Still sitting here with Zama McLaw. Maybe let's get into the future and see how things are going with your business. But before we get into that, what would you say are the interesting things or the interesting trends that you are excited about in your industry?
That has to be for IR, Fourth Industrial Revolution.
Okay. More
specifically AI. Now I'm talking in the communications aspect. Also even in the traveling space, what is it? Because what AI and technology is doing right now all over the world is crazy. The tools that we're getting now for marketing, Canva and all of that, although it's problematic in the sense that but it's a development thing, you know. Right now you can do an entire proposal in literally under an hour, because if you about it under the creative, the future script presentation, it makes a okay it, and you're just like, okay, let's go, you know. With tourism as well, we're finding spaces now where if I want to take you to Switzerland, for example, and I can have a virtual reality before you said to you like uyibuke as if wena ukhona lapho before you even do the booking. All of that. I know in South Africa we're still a bit far ahead, you know, especially in smaller towns. But I think it's quite interesting what EAI and basically the fourth industrial revolution is doing all over the world.
I think that's pretty amazing. In your journey of business, what would you say are the things that a person could implement in the first year of their business? Like important elements they could implement in the first year of their business?
Discipline. Discipline. There's quite a few things I could mention, but that on its own. And I say it because I felt dismally with being disciplined. I was ill-disciplined with time, I was ill-disciplined with money, no we part basically. So I think there kind of comes a time where as an entrepreneur you're a course, as a business owner you're a course. We always say, or people have this thing, thinking what entrepreneurship is better than having a 9 to 5. Tell you it's worse. Because at least with your 9 to 5, after 5 over the laptop you gone. With us we do I see that. Because even when you get to bed, your mind is still going, you know. So in order to get there, I think discipline in the first year, because I think it takes 3 years to see whether your business will succeed or not. And that first year is crucial, it's critical, because you want to stop. You want to small guinea saying, like it's a good day, guinea saying, and it's being financially disciplined, it's time management. You know, you can't have people waiting for you and stuff like that. Those are things I still struggle with now, 9 years later. But it's also because I had not instilled them. So anybody who's into the field or just entered, just be disciplined with everything you do.
I think that's really beautiful. Okay, looking at business, and I know in most cases we're always looking at the beautiful stuff. What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? But let me like rephrase it. What are the challenges? What are the challenges you're going to face? Do you think you're going to face in the next 5 years? If I may put it like that.
Staying where I am. Go area. Because, and I say this in the most beautiful way. When I started my business started in Durban. But I decided to come this side because I was like, there's a gap. Right? But I don't think we are catching up fast enough. And Inkialani Pupulam was to succeed here. Whereas if I were to be honest with myself, in order to reach where I want to reach or live the life I want to live, you know, and go to places that will understand what I'm doing, who will embrace me fully without the cattiness of I'm a small business with a small area. And in most cases, it's just a lack of understanding. You know? It's you saying, finding the proper clientele. All the clientele I have is nobody from here. It's people from the outside coming in. And I think I'd love for that to happen, but I don't know if I have 5 years to continue. So that's another 5 years of wishing. It's been 9 years of wishing that Impangeni Richards Bay 05 comes to the party of where Durban, Joburg, Cape Town is, because we have the potential. We have the potential. When we're tourism, when we're communications, we can kill it. But we're not there, right? And I think the challenges we face in the next 5 years is that the world is moving and we're just not moving quick enough. It's like ukugijima marathon. Bale awusababona ukubona yabo awusekho na show noma yena nendlela omela ukugijima ngayo. And I think that's where we are. If something happens in the next year, especially in 2025, and we are able to fully understand without criticizing what the youngsters are doing, and then I think we have a potential of making it.
I also can see a lot of potential in this area, and I think it's with time we'll get there with people like you. in the industry as well. Maybe looking at your business when you started off and now, are you happy in terms of how things are going?
No matter what I can do, I can have short-term goals right now that I want to achieve. Give you access and give a message in mode. The next week is obviously I'm not worked hard enough because the country of 300s in entry level. You understand? So I come to understand that the fact I don't say I've dimmed down, but with my rebrand and my character development, I've just appreciated myself in the 9 years. I can stand up and proudly say that everything I have is sourced from my business. You're getting a roof over my head. It's because I worked for it. My business is that. Man, cookie rent. I put my lapana with business account. You know, I'm a mom. And I know I don't look it, but but I'm a mom, and my business is able to ensure that my son has a bright future. So all of that, you know, and that I can assist other people and I'm fine. I won't lie to you and say I'm proud of everything I've achieved, because most instances, in most cases, when I go back home, singing I'm like, I'm so behind in life. Other 29-year-olds, 7-year-olds, I'm not working hard enough. But I also know other people who've made their first buck at 50, who've got their first car at 43. So it's just basically just patting yourself on the back. By faith, you will achieve.
Thank you so much for sharing that about your business and your journey, a little bit about your family as well. I think it's a really amazing story to tell. And thank you so much for also welcoming us into such a beautiful space.
Thank you so much for having me, and to just, I think more than anything, doing this as well, it's just a reminder to oneself of how far they've come. Sometimes more than anything, I've had the ability, we've wronged people, we've made mistakes, we failed, but sitting here and doing this, it's just a reflection of how far we've come. You know, you asking some of the things they personally nobody has done. But it's just interesting to realize that we grow, and thank you so much for doing this and doing this show and embracing young entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much. All right, so we've come to the end of this amazing episode. And of course, today we learned that in business, it doesn't have to always be serious. You can let loose and have fun there and there. And of course, you need to have discipline at all times. All right, from me to you, let's end it there. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, hit the notification button so that you're notified every time we post new content. It's Vertebra Productions. Bye.